I left Glasgow, where I'd been brought up, went to Edinburgh and studied architecture. I found it very restrictive. As a 17-year-old in Edinburgh, I found it very, very kind of restrictive course. So I knew I wanted to do something that would allow me to give me an opportunity to ask more questions. So after a couple of years, I went to Glasgow School of Art and I had an absolutely fantastic time there. That really allowed me the opportunity to become myself. From there I went to the Royal College of Art, where I did a cultural history research degree for 2 years. Again, it just allowed me to explore the world in a different way. After that, I made art and I curated some shows for 2 or 3 years. And I did some interesting things, but I found I was bored in between shows. It didn't quite have the intensity that I'd enjoyed at art school. So I ended up making radio programs, which is quite an intense, atmosphere. You have a short period of time to make radio programs. So I did a master's degree in radio at Goldsmiths College and then ended up working at the BBC as a producer. So working with those communities there gave me a bit of an insight into how much I really enjoyed, working, with people to help them, generate their own stories. So I actually ended up working in a real life community project near where I live. I started doing some voluntary work on a regeneration project, and I ended up at project managing that project, which was to kind of regenerate an area of London that was quite run down. So that was a fantastic creative project because it was very, it was real life results, a new market, a redeveloped high street and that kind of thing. I did that for about 5 years, and then my career morphed again because I realised how much I enjoyed working with people who were facing very stressful times in their lives. So I retrained as a psychotherapist, and I'm just finishing my training now. I've been doing that for 5 years. So I'm now working in private practice as a psychotherapist. I think I've always been a very curious person, and I've always loved making things as well. So art school kind of was my playground for me to really discover myself. So I'm not sure it gave me anything other than the space and the encouragement to really explore. What I enjoyed most about art school, it's very easy to say this, and it was the people. It was all the different types of people there, all the conversations, all the dialogues, all the laughter, all the experimentation. I just loved art school for that reason. When you're making art, if you're able to make something that still has that energy about it, the energy of risk or uncertainty, then that's what's going to be engaging to the viewer. You're trying to transform people in a subtle way. You're trying to create an experience for somebody that shifts something for them or that opens up something for them. And that's so close to psychotherapy. I'm not trying to place something into someone's mind, but I am trying to create a space, a new space for them to inhabit, that will allow them to move through some stuck place in that they're in. So I'm trying to facilitate transformation in the same way, albeit in psychotherapy, you're often dealing with people in a lot of distress. So creating the space for me it's a serious business now, but it's often as with art, there's a lot of room for real kind of humanity in there as well. So it's often very moving. It's often quite funny. It's often very touching. and it often changes me as well. So the link between art and psychotherapy is quite close, really. Well, at art school you learn a huge number of different skills. You learn the discipline of making, craft skills. You learn how to talk about your work. You learn how to explain what you're doing. You learn how to become involved in creative dialogues. You also learn how to speak to different types of people. But I suppose the main skill I've gained at art school is a kind of attitude to work, which is about being creative, about not always doing things in the way they've always been done before, to maybe come at things from a slightly kind of lateral angle. And that often creates really interesting results. And I think people who've worked with me have known that I can bring something a little bit different to any of the careers that I've been in. I've been able to come in from a slightly different perspective, coming from an art school background. I embrace risk and uncertainty in my life. It's not always easy to survive financially, but it does mean that life is exciting and that I'm open to possibilities. I think from now on, I think psychotherapy will be my foundation, but I can really see I have so many ideas come into my mind in the process of working that I can see myself becoming involved in other creative projects in the future. I'm not sure quite what yet, but the world still feels a very exciting place for me. I still think of myself as an artist. I mean, who defines what an artist is? It's inside I'm an artist.